everyone, I'm PJ. Okay, so today we're going to switch things up a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to make this Jason wreath, which is Friday the 13th. So we're going to learn how to turn this into this. So first of all, I want to show you some of the stuff that we need. But before I get into all that, if you would go ahead and hit the subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up and go ahead and hit the notification bell. Ding! And that way you will be notified every time I upload a video. Okay, so let's get started with all that out of the way. So, this is what I did. I went to the dollar store, which is our local Dollar Tree here where I live. And what I picked up was the mask. I picked up some of this netting. I also picked up some of this netting in this like bloody, pinky, gory stuff. And I picked up a machete because that's what Jason uses. Now, when I went back to the store to get the stuff, my local store did not have it. That does not mean that your store won't. So, everything that you see right here was $1. Dollar, 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 dollar. And the ring that I even got is one of these metal, just a regular wreath ring. This is a 12-inch ring. So, I will show you how to wrap this around there so we can get this all together. So when I went back to the store, I had gotten this only so I can show you guys for video purposes. And I got ourselves another mask. So, this is what you're going to need. All this was $1, so this is like $5 right here. That's it. So you're going to need some, this is what I did. You don't have to. I did get some silver paint, and that way I could do my machete in silver because it is white. So I just wanted to go ahead and do mine a little bit more authentic. So, also what you're going to need is some paint. This is the paint that I'm going to be using today. I have a charcoal. I have a, it's called a territory beige. I have a teddy bear brown. And I have a gray. And I think this is dolphin gray. Dolphin gray. So these are the colors that we are going to be using right there. I have different brands, as you can see. Now you can use any brand that you want. I also have some sponge brushes and some other little brushes that we're going to be using today. So there's a variety of sizes and all kinds of stuff in here, so we'll be using those today. I also have some permanent magic markers. They have to be permanent for it to stick onto the mask. So permanent magic markers. I also have a piece of poster board that I used to make the sign. As you can see, it's like a foamy, there's like a foam inside of it. It's kind of thick. So I used that. Also, what I did was this. To make this sign, I went online and I printed off some pictures so I knew how to make this. So actually, this is the one that I actually did use. But I just went on and I just started printing off some pictures of different styles, sizes, and different stuff like that. I guess that's the same one. Just different sizes, styles, and what I wanted to do. This is the one that I came up with. I sized it to the size that I wanted. I cut it out, and I cut it out onto the poster board, which we'll get into that here in a little bit. Okay, so step number 1, our mask. So this is what I did. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to need some glue and some food coloring. Last thing, food and glue and food coloring. All right, so this is what I did. I took my mask. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't prep it. I didn't do nothing with it. I just took my mask. And all I did is I got myself a piece of paper. I'm going to stick all that over there so we can see. I started out with gray because we want to give it a little bit of dimension. Now you can cut these off if you want to. We're not going to need them because we're going to be wrapping some black cord around the top up here, so you're not going to need these, but I'll just leave them on for right now. Alright, so this is what I did. Got myself some gray. That was the first color that I started out with. If I can get it out of the tube. I hate when sometimes these things do not come out. They kind of dry up a little bit, but that's okay. You just squeeze some out. You're not going to need a lot of this, of any of these colors actually. So this is what I did. I just took some of this gray that you see, and let me scooch up here a little bit. I just took some of the gray, and I just tapped the edge of my brush into the gray, and then it's called like dry brushing. That way I didn't have a lot on my paintbrush, but I still had enough that I could work with on my mask. This does not have to be a science. You can do this any way you want. And you just kind of start painting it here and there. And this area right here in the center though, you don't have to really worry about this too much because we're going to get to that. So you just start kind of like painting it on. It, like I said, it doesn't have to be an exact science. It just needs to be whatever you feel the need to do. So that's all we're going to do with that. I don't know how good this is going to show up on camera, but do you see how I just slopped it around? No big deal. It's just wherever I thought the need to be for gray. Kind of gives it just an extra color on there. Now this is what I did. I took the brown because we want it to look a little bit dirty. So I took the brown, same thing. Now with this what I did, I'll put that little drop there, is I used a sponge brush. And same thing, I just dabbed in with the sponge brush and I tapped it to get the excess off a little bit. And then I just started like tapping it, just real light, just tapping it everywhere to make this like dirty looking whatnot. I just tapped it on. Then I kind of brushed it like that. And that's all I did with it. Just here and there, wherever I wanted it to look like dirt. You can go any way you want to go. It's totally up to you. This is your design. You can make this any particular way. It does not have to be, there's no rhyme or reason, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So you just go over this, and as you can see, this is starting to come to life a little bit here. If y'all can see that. And I just basically tapped, let me get a spot. I just basically tapped it like that, and then I swished it across. So that's about all I did. As you can see, it's starting to make it look dirty, used, wore out, whatever. So we just keep going back in with this, and we just keep doing this until you get this the way you want it to be. And like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. You just do your thing. And let's proceed to get this done real quick. I'm kind of doing this a little fast because I don't want to, maybe I should cut that off because that's going to get into my way. I'm trying to do this a little bit fast because I don't want to stay on this here forever so you guys can see what I'm doing. So let me just get this. Like I said, there's no rhyme, no reason. You just kind of paint it on and go with the flow. Now this is going to start to dry, so you want to kind of get it like, it's going to get like a little tacky. So you want to just start moving this around as much as possible. I know this is probably not really. And we're just going to keep tapping, tapping. Alright. Like that. Okay. So once we get that done, I'm going to go in with this little bit darker shade just for some contrast, nothing big. I'm also going to use the same brush that I had with the dark. Same principle, you tap off the excess, and you go back in. And that gives it just a little bit of a different color. And that way it's not so just one-dimensional with one color. You just want to make it a little bit dark. Now if you want to, you can go back in with some gray again, just to give it some more dirt looking whatnot. And we'll just put that around. Now if you get too much in one spot, like there, see how I kind of got this big blob there? Then all you have to do is just take and move it around, and it will blend right into everything else that you're doing. So we're going to just do this a little bit. Now, once you get all this done, it's going to kind of look something like this. So the more you put on it, the more you play with it, the more you do whatever to it, it's going to turn out and look like this. So we're not quite there, but we're getting there. Okay, next step is our black. Now this is like a charcoal gray. I did not use a full black because it's going to be too dark. I want it to kind of look dirty. So I did use this off gray color. It's called charcoal. So it's not really black. It's not really, once again, wanting to come out. There we go. It looks black on the paper, but it's really not. It's a grayish color. As you can see, this does look black on the paper. And as you can see, this is how I did the other colors. I just dabbed them and then dry brushed most of the paint off. So we're going to do the exact same thing with the black. Now, I do use the same brush with this too. So once I get all the brown off, you can just take and swish it on your paper, and it's going to get most of the brown off of it. Same thing, I'm going to go back in with my black, and this is what we do. Once we get the black on here, or the dark gray, it really is a dark gray, it's going to matte down to this color. It will be like that. Now all I did was this. I started at the outer edge, and I just tapped this on like this. I just started tapping it, and see how it makes this like spongy kind of coloring? Like it's rough around the edges basically. So we're going to go ahead and finish our rough around the edges. And you just keep tapping this the whole way around like this. You can go in as far as you want, as less as you want, as more as you want. I got some hard edges there. Do you see the hard edges that I just got? You just go back over them like that. No biggie. The whole way around. The whole way around. Go back in, grab a little bit more paint. I'm sorry if this video is going to be a little bit long, but I want to end up giving you the full detail of what I did do to get this mask to look the way it did. Alright. The whole way around. So we're going to stop there because it's going to take too long. Now, the only thing that I did do differently is I did do this the whole way around both sides. Like I said, we're going to stop here. Now to do the eyes, exact same way. You just go in with your black right now. If you want to use black, you can. I don't like the way it turned out. So same thing with the eyes. I just went around the eyes. You can drag this down as much as you want. However you want to make your eyes look. And as you see, it's kind of coming together here a little bit. Let's get a little bit more paint on there. Like that. Okay. Alright. Same with the nose. If you look here underneath his nose, I put this grayish underneath his nose a little bit. So all you have to do is just dot right up on there. And that's all we have to do. That is it. Now you can go back in and do whatever you want to do with this. It's totally your project, up to you. It don't matter. This is anything that you want to make it look like. So that's what we got so far. So once you get the black in the eyes and all the black around the edges, and you can go back in, put more brown in here, do whatever you want. It's totally up to you. This is your mask. It will end up looking like this once all this dries down. So this is what we have. There we go. Same thing. Now to get the top, this is what I did. I got some masking tape and I got our colored pencil. Now this is a permanent marker. So make sure you have a permanent marker. And we're just going to take a little piece of tape and we're going to put it, make sure when you do this that the V is lined up right with his nose. And that's the best way to get this straight. Like that. That's not going to be long enough. And we're going to go right below this dot right here. If you can see all that. See how the V lines up directly with his nose. So that's where you want it to line up at, this point. And then right below that circle, we're going to put our tape. And that's what we have. Now, on the other one, I did make it bigger. You can do this however you want to do it, but we're going to just do this one small for demonstration purposes. Okay, take your pen, and you just start coloring this in. That's all you have to do. That's going to take a couple coats because it's plastic. And this permanent marker has to stay on the plastic. Now if you're really good at freehanding, you can do this freehand. I am not. I use tape. So we just start coloring this in. Like I said, it's going to take a couple times because it is plastic and you need it to stay real good. Now make sure that you get all the little corners up here and every little corner that you need to do. And we're going to let that dry and we'll see how it looks. Okay, we will be right back. Okay everyone, we are back. So while our mask is drying, I want to go ahead and show you how to put your wreath together. This is very simple. So let's move our mask over here while it dries because we want to make sure that our permanent marker is dried real good. Okay, so I went to the dollar store and I got two, it's like a net type thing. So I got two of these. Of course one's black and it's like a grayish color, and then this red one. I did not open this the whole way. I just folded it over and I left it the way that it was. I felt that if I opened it up, it would be more pink than it would be like a bloody cloth, so I just left it shut. But when you get it, it's going to come like this, and I just opened it the whole way. And when you get this wreath, if you lay this square out, the wreath will not fit once you start to wrap this around. So you need to take this and turn it like a diamond. And once you get it shaped like a diamond, once you put this out, it's not going to fit. So put it like a diamond. And once you have it this way on your form, then it will fit. So this is how I did it. I took my ends on all four corners and I pushed it over this first wire. I don't know if you, this first wire right here. I lapped it over. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I lapped this over, as you can see. And then I threaded it down through the second wire. So I pushed it in here and pulled it down here. So it's over. I don't know how well you can see this. There we go. I pulled it over and then I threaded it down through the back of this one. So it's like this. So we put this over, thread this through like that. See how we got that in there? I don't know how well you can see. And then you just pull it. And once you get it pulled in there, then you just kind of mess with it a little bit and you pull it down through. And you do this with all 4 corners. And it's going to end up like this. So you do all 4 corners. You see how I wrapped it around and then I pulled it down through this first hook, this first layer right here. See how there's these wires? You just flip it over and tuck it down in that other first wire right there. So then once I got that down here, I just tied them together. Now I am going to hot glue this just to make sure that it stays. But I did tie it so it's nice and tight. And that way it's nice the whole way around the edges. But as you can see, this is not exactly like tight form fitting. You can see there's some like pull to it, which is fine. I want it that way because I don't want something to be real tight because of course Jason is supposed to be a little tattered. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just tie this off like that. And we'll glue this down, hot glue right in the middle, a little tack here and there. And there we go. Wreath is pretty much done. So you can add in whatever you want. You can pull these together with some pieces of wire to make it more black. But whatever you want to do. Now most of this is going to be covered, so yeah, there we go. Easy. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay everyone, we're back. So what I did was I just went and took my glue gun, just tacked it here and there. I also went and put on my piece of red that I wanted to put on, and I did the same thing. I just ran it through underneath here, underneath the wire, and then I tacked it with my glue gun. I did put a little piece of wire on here to hold this together because I want to be able to place my sign right there, so I want it to look like that. You can make this just drape the whole way down solid. You don't have to tie it back. I did use this little bit of wire that I have. Now you can get this in the jewelry section of the craft store. It's very, very pliable. So you can do a lot of stuff with this. So that's where I got this. You can also use just a regular old pipe cleaner. So it doesn't have to be any kind of wire or anything. You just use a pipe cleaner. So that's what we got done with our wreath so far. So we wrapped our material around, wrapped our red around, cut everything off, glued it, and that's where we are. So now we are going to make this. We're going to make our knife. Now this is what you want to do. You have to get yourself a bottle of glue and some red food coloring. It's that easy, no big deal. You can make this as light of a color of red or a dark of a color of red that you want. I particularly like this darker color, so the more you want, of course, the more food coloring you're going to add into this. Now, when you do this, if you get it on your hands, it will stain you a little bit, so make sure when you do this to just be careful of where or what you're doing. Alright, so let's go ahead, and this is what I did. All I simply did was I took my knife and I took my glue. Let's open the glue. Took my glue and I just drizzled down over. I did have this working. There we go. There we go. And I just drizzled this down over like that. And you can make this do whatever you want. Now if you hold it like this, if you see at the bottom, it's going to start to like drip off. So if you want that effect, you can do this however your little heart desires. So if you don't like it, here's a tip. Yes. If you don't like the way this looks, all you do is simply wipe it back off before it dries, and that's it. So if you want just the edge there a little bit, you can just do the edge. If you want it more like I have on this one, where it is on some of the top of the blade inside, you just put more glue on here, and I take the tip and I just kind of like make little blobs, and then if you tap it, it will fall, it will do whatever you want it to do. You can take a paintbrush and make markings in this. You can drag it, you can take a toothpick down through it. There's a lot of different things that you can do for whatever you want to do with your bloody knife. So that's all there is to that. So a little bit of glue, a little bit of food coloring, and it will stick to this plastic, and that's it. That's all it takes. So there you go. Easy, easy. And that's it. Simple. Alright. I did paint this silver, because remember it was that white color. I did paint it silver with some silver paint. You don't have to. You can leave yours white or whatever you want to do with it. So go ahead and make yours however you want, and that is how simple it is to make some bloody knives, is some glue and some food coloring. Like I said, be careful with it. It will stain a little bit, and you can use whatever glue, cheap glue, 50-cent glue, whatever glue that you have, Elmer's glue, whatever, white glue. You need the white glue kind. And that's all there is to it. So, alright, hold on, and we'll be back, and we'll put the rest of our wreath together. Hold on. Okay, so I just want to show you real quick how I went and I made the little sign that I have. So like I said, what I did is I just went onto the computer and I started running off pictures of what I thought maybe it would look like, should look like, what I wanted it to look like. So I did get the one that I wanted at the size that I wanted, cut it all down, cut it out, and I made a template out of it. And then I simply just put it on a piece of foam board and I cut it out. Now this is what foam board is. I got this at the dollar store, once again, and it's just like a foam, I don't know how well you can see that. It's just like a foam piece. There's like just a little foam piece of board inside of there, and it's kind of spongy. So I wanted it to have some like depth to it, like not just a piece of paper. Now you can use cardstock paper if you want to. You can use whatever you want to make your, if you want to make it out of wood, you can. So all I simply did was I just took it and painted it, and I just brushed it on. And it kind of, I used one of these different kinds of brushes like this. It kind of has the different end to it. It's kind of more stiff. So that way whenever you brush it on, you're going to get like little lines through it that kind of make it look like a little bit of a wood grain. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but if you look, it kind of looks like a little bit of a, just a little bit of a wood grain to it, other than a normal, just solid color. So that's why I use that stiffer little bit of a brush, just to give it that little bit more texture than I have. So I just went over it, painted the whole thing. Then I took my colored markers, the permanent markers that I have, and I just kind of went off of this and transported it onto here, and Mine ain't perfect. I didn't want it to be because, of course, it's Jason. So that's all I did to make the sign. So let me put this all together and we'll be right back. Okay, everyone, we're back. So all I did was I took some pipe cleaners and I threaded it through the little top things of the masks and the little side things here. And then down at the bottom, I just threaded through the 2 bottom holes and attached it that way because there was nothing else down. Now for the bottom, I did use the littler wire. That way it wasn't as noticeable. I did finish off our mask, so as you can see, this is what it actually turned out to be. So I got that finished. So this is our finished product. Now all I did was took and glued this on. I did put a pipe cleaner here so it would be a little bit more sturdier. I glued this on. Same thing over here. I just glued this on. Put my little pipe cleaners through the top. You can't really see the sides because they're covered up. But I did go through the top, and as you can see, the bottom little wire, I did do that. Once it's turned, you can't really see it. So this is our finished product, and it didn't turn out too awful bad. So I'm sorry that the video ended up being so long, but I did want to kind of take you like step by step as to how to make the mask. All I did in the back was I just put everything together, glued it all down. I put my little hangy on here. I know you probably can't see my little hanger, and that is about it. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and this is what you need for the next project. Y'all ready? You need a skillet, a pot, a pan, or whatever you want to call it. So this is going to be our next project for Halloween. So stay tuned, and if you want to see how this is done, come on back. So we'll be back. Bye.